I'm so glad to have you join me while I take you through how to build a website. Let's get started with WordPress right out of the box. After logging into your WordPress admin area, which is the back end of your website, from the side menu select Plugins, Installed Plugins. If Create Block Theme by WordPress.org is not present in the list of options, then click on Add New button. Search for Create Block Theme and verify that the plugin's author is WordPress.org before clicking on the Install Now button. Once installed, click Activate button. This plugin added 2 new features to our website, accessible through our side menu under Appearance. Appearance, Create Block Theme. Select the option Create a Child of 2023. This opens up some additional fields. From here, we're going to use the theme name 2023 Child. Enter a description. This is a custom child theme of the default WordPress 2023 theme. Change the author name to your name. If you know the URL of where you would like to post information about this theme, provide a theme URL. The author URI should be your main about page or home page. In the rest of this form, we can leave settings in their defaults and click Generate button to create a theme. Appearance themes. Currently, we have the 2023 theme set up as active, and now we're going to add a new theme, and from our downloads folder, upload the zip file that we just downloaded. Now we're going to click the Activate button and set the new theme as our current theme. According to the most recent official WordPress documentation I can find, it's best practice to build a website using a child theme. Whether this advice still applies to the new WordPress is non-specific. So for now, I'm assuming this method is still recommended. So go ahead and click on Settings and then General. I'm going to fill out my site title, which is WordPress Solutions. We're going to come up with a tagline. In this case, I'm going to just call this Freelance Website Services. The best advice I can give you for a site title and tagline is to use as few words as possible to accurately describe what your website is about. The site's tagline is not meant for branded catchphrases. Think of this more like, how would you categorize your website? Better yet, explain in 3 words what your website is about. If it takes you more than 5 words to explain, your concept might be too complex to catch the attention of most users within first glance. Set your site language. I'm Canadian, so I'll choose English Canada. Set your time zone. To save yourself future headaches with troubleshooting, figure out and set the UTC offset of your time zone. Don't just choose the city from the drop-down. All the other settings we're going to leave at their defaults for now. Appearance Editor. Here we can see what our design looks like on the front end. All websites contain a header, body, and footer. The site's header and footer elements are stationary and appear the same on every page of your website. As you can see, this is a very basic and stripped down design. Click on the styles in the side menu and toggle the style book icon, which looks like an eye. This will show you samples of how different blocks of content will look. Spend a few moments experimenting through the different options. Then choose one that appeals to you and is similar to your ideal design to use as a base to build from. I'm going to choose Aubergine. Let's start with the stationary elements header and footer. The site title starts both the header and footer on the left. The main navigation nav is located in the right end of the header. Finally, on the footer right end is a paragraph with a link that goes to another website, aka external link. It isn't necessary to repeat content, especially on the same page. It's a better idea to have different content in your footer than what is in your header. So I'm addressing this first. I don't need to display my site title twice. I'm changing the footer's site title to display the site tagline instead. We are viewing the front or home page of our new website. Currently, this is set to display your latest posts by default. Once we have built some content, we might change this to display a static page. But until then, our homepage is using the blog home template. Templates are for entire page layouts, whereas patterns are sections within a page. Clicking on the site title in the footer brings me to the blog home template, and I can now edit the footer pattern. All of my templates are using the same footer pattern, so changing the layout here will take effect everywhere and not just this template. In the top menu, click the list view icon. This displays a hierarchical layout of the blocks used to create the template. Not only can we select, but we can also drag and drop. Click on the 3 dots option icon in the top menu. Preferences, General, Appearance. Toggle on Always Open List View. From within the footer, select the site title. There are several intuitive ways to insert a new block of content after the site title. Personally, I prefer to click on the options icon in the list view. Select Add Before or Add After. The options icon is also available in the blocks toolbar, which is handy. You could also hover over the area until the Add Block icon appears. Then choose the site tagline block to insert it into the template. Next, delete the site title block. Then we can update and save the changes. In my case, Powered by WordPress is accurate and appropriate for this website, but you should edit this text to suit your website. This would be a great spot for a catchphrase. Never underline text because this style is reserved for links. Highlighting the link, I have the option to toggle it off, aka break the link, or I can edit the link. External links should always open in a new browser tab, so I'll checkmark this and enter. Click Save or Command S on a Mac to save the overall progress. I use undo and redo a lot. You'll be happy to know these keyboard shortcuts and are accessible in the top menu. In the right-hand sidebar is an inspector window. The first tab displays the overall template settings, and the second tab will display the currently selected block options. If you happen to close this window, you can open it again by clicking the settings icon. We only just got our feet wet. We'll dig deeper into design once we have some actual content ready for designing. The most important aspect of your website are your users, and so we are going to address user communications before we move into content creation. Viewers and contributors who interact with your website are users of your website. In an era where social media is king, followers and commenting boost your popularity, and WordPress has these capabilities already built in. The goal of your website should be to gain subscribers or followers, thereby building your website's network. With this comes the responsibility of handling user data, which isn't as daunting as it may sound. Taking a look now at the posts, you'll notice a sample post is in the trash. We'll click on this and restore it. Click on All or All Posts to change the view. The trash folder has disappeared now because it's empty. Then we are going to quick edit and switch this from draft mode to published and click the update button. Now we can preview the post and attached comments. In this example, there is a column which displays a comment icon with a number 1 inside, telling us that there is a comment attached to this post. There are 2 ways to view the comment, either by clicking on the comment icon or navigating to the comment section from the left sidebar menu. Before all else, we need to address the troll in the room. When you open your platform up to allow commenting, you are susceptible to spam. So we are going to protect ourselves by heading over to Plugins, Add New, and we're looking for Akismet Anti-Spam Spam Protection. This is a WordPress recommended tool, so generally it's visible on the plugins landing page. If not, you can type Akismet to search. Install and activate Akismet. Akismet is now added to the settings menu, and we are faced with 2 options: set up account or enter an API key. Click on Set Up Account. We only need spam protection here, so click on that first option and select how much you would like to contribute. Check the confirmation boxes and continue with the personal subscription. Then you will be given an API key. I already have an API key, so I'm going to paste my key and click Connect. Leave the default settings. Now we have some basic protection from spam. Settings discussion. Without a place for people to comment, you miss out on a chance to converse with your visitors. By default, comments are available for all pages and posts on your site, but are held in pending status so you can approve them. Rather than intervening on real-time conversations by manually approving, it's better to moderate or censor comments after they've been published. The exception to this, of course, is if you are already experiencing spam issues and need to take some form of additional preventative action. These top 3 settings we can leave as their default. I want the comment author to fill out their name and email, but I also want my users registered and logged in to my website to comment. This is one extra step which prevents a lot of spam and bots. People who are genuinely interested in your discussions won't hesitate to take a minute to create an account. I don't want to be notified with every comment. I'll end up seeing this as I log into my WordPress backend anyway, so it's not necessary to email me this information as well. However, if there is a moderation issue, it is something that I would like to take care of ASAP. Because I'm requiring my users to create an account before commenting, I don't need to manually approve, nor do they need to already have posted comments previously. Additionally, you can limit the number of links allowed and flag comments that contain certain words, but we're leaving these options at their defaults. Comments. Here we have the comments author, the comment, which post it is attached to, and the date timestamp. We can click into the comment to moderate. Not only can we edit the comment, but also change the comment status. Because we've set up our comments to automatically publish for logged in users, pending will only unpublish it from the front end. From there, you can mark as spam and or move it to the trash. To put all this into context, let's have a look at the front end of the website. Click on View Post. Here is the post content and a comment form at the bottom. Having a closer look, you can see that I'm currently logged in as an administrator. Using a second browser, copy and paste the URL to view this post as it appears for non-logged in users. Clicking on this link to log in brings us to the logged in window. But how do your users create a new account? Settings, General, Membership, anyone can register. Well, we have to turn this feature on in order to display the option to register a new account. By default, new users are assigned the subscriber role. If we take a look at our own user profile, our user role is administrator. We have access to everything on both the front end and back end of our website, including the ability to assign user roles. There are 3 other user role options by default. Contributor, who writes and manages their own posts but cannot publish them. An author, who publishes and manages their own posts. And an editor, who can publish and manage posts, including the posts of other users. Administrators can add new users from the WordPress backend. Users, add user. Email addresses are unique and therefore cannot have more than one user account on your website. I recommend setting up a secondary user account so you can test exactly what your users experience as they navigate through your website. I'm going to create a Basil bot account. Basil is my beloved fur baby. If you have a pet, name yours accordingly. I'm branding this as a bot account for full transparency. While I don't expect to use this account for anything other than testing, if there is any published content under this name, it'll be clear to my users that this isn't a real person's account. In this case, I'm going to set up the user role to subscriber. I recommend testing the other user roles, contributor, author, and editor, so you have a better understanding of their capabilities. Okay, so we've added the capability to register and log in, but the only method to access this on the front end right now is from the comment section. Appearance, editor, navigation. Let's add the login out block. Save, and now our users can access this option from our main navigation. We also want to connect with our users on the third-party social media applications we have in common. Let's add the social icons block to the footer. I'm going to add my YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook Business Artist page accounts. For best practice, all of your third-party links should be located in your footer. Think of it this way. You don't want to send your user away to another website until after they've already looked at your content. Those platforms are designed to hook and distract users, and they've invested a lot of money to be successful at it. Lastly, we need our users to be able to email us through our website. It is best practice to include a contact link in the main navigation. Time to step back and have a look at our website. In the navigation, we have a sample page waiting for real content, and we also see an excerpt from the Hello World post, which we just set up the comments on. What is the difference between a page and a post? According to WordPress documentation, a post is dynamic, meaning it can be used and shown in many different ways. A page is static, meaning that once you make it, the page stays in one spot until you physically change it. Pages. The best way to demonstrate the differences is to start by having a look at our sample page. We have title, author, and date visible from our list, but you'll also notice the comments column. By default, pages do not display comments, but they can be turned on individually. We have the option to edit, quick edit, view, and trash. Let's check out the quick edit. We can edit the following: title, the slug, which displays the URL and should match your title, the publication date. This date can be changed. If we set this to a date in the future, our page status changes to scheduled and will automatically publish when that date arrives. Password or private. We can password protect this page or set it to private, which will only display to logged in users. Parent. Pages should follow the same hierarchy as your menu. If you have submenu or drop-down items, then you should be using the same structure with your pages. This will give you the proper URL or slug structure. Order. Suppose you have a list of pages. By default, the order that they are displayed in goes by the publishing date, which is usually newest to oldest. We can change the date to do this, or we can set the order number. Template. Assign a particular template to this page. Allow comment. If we turn this on, then the comments will appear at the bottom of our page, just as it did for our Hello World post. Status. Published, pending review, and draft. Once you've changed any of the quick edit options, you must click the update button. Otherwise, your changes won't save. Let's have a look inside the page by selecting Edit. You will first be greeted by the welcome screen, which gives you an overview of how the new editor functions. We will start with the inspector sidebar, which is displaying our page elements. In the summary, we have the same options that we just saw from the quick edit. Additionally, though, we have the option to switch the author of this page. Next, we can set the featured image for this page. Note that even if you aren't displaying this featured image on your website, it is best practice to include one. Why? Well, if I were to copy the URL for this page and paste it anywhere, whether that be on my own site somewhere or on a social media or even another third-party website, this featured image is going to be pulled into that excerpt. Discussion is to allow comments, and page attributes again have the same options as in the quick edit. As you know by now, I like to always view my list view, primarily because there are blocks which aren't always visible from the editor, such as containers. I'm going to set this preference to on for editing pages as well, just as we did previously for templates. In this case, there is an additional option, outline. So let's have a quick peek at that. Wow, this is great information. Characters, words, and time to read. I'm not familiar with why this additional message is displayed here. At the moment, there are no issue with the page's structure, so I'm going to see what happens if I create an intentional mistake. I'll edit this paragraph and switch it to a heading. If I switched it to a level 4 heading, I'm then given the warning that this is an incorrect heading level. Amazing. Okay, I don't need to save this, but I do want to switch over to our Hello World post so we can see what the difference is. Looking at the overview, there are 2 additional columns for categories and tags. Quick Edit also displays the categories and tags. We can address these later once we have some real content to organize. Allow pings. If you want to grow your readership, you should always want to allow pings. Pings notify search engines and blog ranking services that you've updated your blog and will index what you've added. Make this post sticky. This will stick the post to the top of the list wherever it's being displayed. Let's move into edit the post. In the inspector, we can see the similarities from the sample page with the additional options that we looked at in the quick edit. Stick to the top of blog, categories, tags, but here is something new, excerpt. Now by default, excerpts will pull the first few words of your post content followed by an ellipses. Here we have an option to overwrite the excerpt with a summary. Woohoo, we've done it. We've covered the basic elements to get you started. Replacing the filler sample text with real text is part of your first assignment. Replace the hello post with an article written by you from your perspective. If you're stuck for ideas, take a look at this video's lesson plan, and there'll be some suggestions there to help spark your writing. Also, use your bot account to edit that comment. For the second part of your assignment, this sample page should now become your about page. At this stage, treat your post and page as if you're writing an essay. In other words, text only. Focus only on adding headings and paragraphs. In the next lesson, we're going to dive deeper into formatting and organizing your content using best practice. Stand up. We've reached that 20-minute mark. Walk around, take a break, give yourself a pat on the back because we got through quite a bit here in this first session.